Amaka gave Obiora a very tough decision to make. Obiora, seeing how serious and angry his wife was that night, decided to trade with caution. He quickly calmed Amaka down and told her to go back to sleep. He won't trade her for anything or trade their marriage for anything. He then told her to go back to sleep, that he won't be going anywhere again. He would wait for Sopuruchi at home until she comes back, even if she comes back the next day. Amaka calmed down and went back to sleep. But Obiora still wasn't relaxed. He continued to call Sopuruchi's number back to back, but yet he kept on declining. He then thought of what to do so that Amaka wouldn't suspect him and he can be able to go out and fulfill his curiosity, because anytime he has such panic, something bad is always going to happen, or something bad is happening already. After thinking for some minutes, he came up with a plan. He then entered his room, put a pillow beside Amaka. He did it in a way that one would think he was the one lying down beside her. Afterwards, Obiora sneaked out without letting Amaka to find out. He booked a ride that night and rushed out to the club that Sopuruchi mentioned earlier. When he got there, everywhere was silent and quiet. The streets was deserted. No one was seen on sight. Obiora became confused. He started to look around. That was when he managed to see a security guard. He asked him why the club is not functioning. The security guard told him the club was functioning few hours ago. But all of a sudden, the police came from nowhere and raided the club. Around that 10 p.m., the security guard said to Obiora. He continued. After they raided the club, they arrested a lot of people, including the people that only went there to have fun and the people that came to celebrate their birthdays. In fact, it turns out that someone snitched on the club owners. They gave the police an information that the club owners are selling drugs inside. So, the police raided the club and arrested a lot of people. Obiora shouted. I knew something was wrong. I know Sopuruchi always keeps to her words. Obiora then asked the security man to tell him the police station they were taken to, if he knows. The security guard told him everything he needed to know. Obiora then entered the cab he ordered and drove off again to the police station. On getting there, Obiora saw how the police lined them all out in the cold, and they were all sitting on a bare floor. Just then, Obiora sighted Sopuruchi, who had cried her eyes out that night. He immediately made calls, and his lawyer friend came to the police station that midnight. After back and front with the policemen, Sopruchi and Somto was bailed out. Sopruchi was so happy. At the same time, she was sad. She hugged Obiora immediately. She was released. She started to thank him and praying for him. Sir, this is actually the first time someone is so caring towards me like this, apart from my mother. I am so grateful, sir. I didn't know he would risk it to come out by this time of the night to look for me. Ah, sir, may God bless you and may you find peace and everything you wished for in your life. May God continue to give you. Sopruchi continued to pray and pray for Obiora. When he held her hand and said to her, "Calm down. I don't know why I trust you. You are now a free person, but I'm not. I sneaked out of the house. Your madam didn't let me come out too. She threatened our marriage and even me losing her. But whenever I am uneasy about a particular thing, I always know something is definitely wrong. That is why I took the risk and I sneaked out of the house this midnight. So, Sopruchi, hold your blessings for now. You can give it to me later. I need to save my marriage. I need to rush back now since you are safe. But you will have to go to your friend's house and sleep there while you return in the morning. But me, I need to go home right now." Sopruchi and Somto thanked Obiora once more and they left. Obiora also left in a hurry and he went home. When he got home, he sneaked back in and went straight to his room. Luckily for him, he found Amaka still sleeping and didn't even notice that he left the house. He then quietly entered the bed and slept off. By morning, when Obiora opened his eyes, Amaka is not by his side again. At first, Obiora thought maybe she went to the toilet or she's at the balcony receiving from fresh air or she will be in the kitchen. But when Obiora stood up from the bed, he first checked their toilet and the balcony and Amaka wasn't there. He then went straight to the kitchen. She still was not there. Obiora became scared. Maybe Amaka found out about him leaving the house at night and decided to leave the house too. Obiora became very scared. What have I done to myself? He said to himself. A simple act of kindness is about to make me lose my marriage and my wife too. Oh no, God help me. He then decided to check the wardrobe and see if Amaka packed her bags. When he opened the wardrobe, all Amaka's clothes are intact. Obiora then decided to call her phone. When he dialed her number, all her numbers are switched off. This made Obiora to be more worried than before. At the same time, Obiora remembered that he asked Sopuruchi to be back early that morning, and she was nowhere to be found. Though he did check Sopuruchi's room to check whether she's around. Just as Obiora was standing in the sitting room, looking so worried, still trying Amaka's number and thinking of what next he would do. Amaka came inside. Obiora was surprised and happy at the same time. He then questioned her and asked her where she was coming from, why her numbers are all switched off. Amaka casually told Obiora that she just decided to take a stroll round the house. She told Obiora she was having a very bad back pain when she woke up this morning. So she decided to take a walk and exercise her body. Obiora didn't think deep about it. He was relieved that Amaka didn't find out about that last night. Amaka then remembered Sopuruchi and the incident that happened yesterday night. She then asked Obiora about Sopuruchi. If Sopuruchi is back or she needs them to bring a palm wine for her to come back home. Obiora doesn't know anything whether Sopuruchi is back or not, so he didn't give an answer. As Amaka was still busy asking Obiora questions about Sopuruchi, Sopuruchi came out of her room and greeted them. She then stood there and apologized to Amaka and Obiora for making them worried at night and for her not coming back on time, just as she promised that yesterday. Amaka didn't even argue with her. She just told her to make her something to eat while she go dress up, that she wants to go out that morning. Obiora noticed that Sopuruchi's attitude changed ever since she came back that morning. She's now being too straightforward and not friendly as she used to be. That morning, after Amaka ate and left for work, Obiora decided to engage in a discussion with Sopuruchi. He wanted to find out what went wrong and why Sopuruchi is behaving so cold. Sopuruchi then didn't even say a word to him. She refused to say a word. She only told Obiora that everything is okay with her. She's fine and he shouldn't bother himself. She also greeted and thanked Obiora for what he did for her that yesterday. Obiora then knew that something is wrong, but regardless, he gave her a condition that if she's so appreciative of what he did for her that yesterday night, that she should watch football with him in the evening when he comes back from work. Sopuruchi, also being a lover of football, didn't see anything wrong. She agreed, and Obiora happily left for work that morning. Sopuruchi immediately picked up her phone, saying that no one is at home except her. She called Somto that morning. She was so anxious and worried. She said to Somto, I think there is fire on the mountain in this household. How? Somto asked her. It turns out that Sopuruchi didn't go home with something after Obiora instructed her to follow Somto, her friend, back home. Let her come back in the morning. But on their way home, Somruchi changed her mind and she told Somto that she needed to go back to her workplace. Wait a little before she enters the house. She doesn't want to have issues with her boss. Somto agreed and they went and dropped her off at Obiora's house. When Sopuruchi called Somto that morning, she told her, I witnessed something shocking early this morning, but I am so confused. At the same time, I am scared. I hope it's not what I'm thinking. Sopuruchi then told Somto that when she came back that early in the morning, when they dropped her off, the gate was widely open. Like the small gate was open. By that time of the day, for the small gate of the house to be open, that was quite risky. At first, I thought it was my boss, Obiora, that probably left it open for me. But it wasn't him. Then I entered inside the compound so that I won't disturb or make noise or wake anybody up. I decided to go to the boys' quarters at the back of the house to stay. And when I got there, I started hearing some funny noises. So at first, I was like, I know that the gate man used to sleep at the boys' quarters sometimes, but what kind of noise is this I'm hearing? Until I went closer. It turns out that the gate man was having fun with a woman inside the boys' quarters. Ah, he get mind though. In his oga's house, Santochukwu shouted. But what is confusing about it? Santochukwu asked Sopuruchi. When I noticed that he was busy enjoying himself, Omo, I was tempted to look and see who he was enjoying with. So I peeped through the window and I saw one lady that should be older than that stupid gate man. Omo, my eyes see something ha. Somto, my eyes saw something I have not seen in my life. Somto, this gate man, na rod the man carry. Jeez, if you see the way that woman was mourning loudly, I am still shocked, sis. Now, to the most complicated part, I decided to leave that place, check if the kitchen door is open, the kitchen door that leads to the main house. I wanted to check if it is open so I can use that walkway and enter my room without alerting anybody or making noise. To my surprise, the kitchen door was left open too. Ha! So I remembered very well that I was the one that closed that kitchen door before leaving. I quietly entered the kitchen and locked the door to be on a safe side. Because if my madam Amaka finds out that her kitchen door was open throughout the whole night, I'll be in a very deep trouble. Because I already had a similar situation where she nearly knocked off my teeth because I forgot to lock the kitchen door. So, my dear, I entered my room, changed my clothes, and freshened up. I wanted to sleep, but sleep isn't coming. So, I decided to clean the house, at least do my chores on time, and even cook on time, so that when everybody leaves for work in the morning, I can have a very good sleep. It was a really hectic day throughout the night. I was cleaning, when I noticed that my madam was sneaking out of the boys' quarters. Ha! This one confused me, and I didn't see her when I peeped through the window. Girl, I'm so confused. How? What was she doing there? At first, I thought maybe she went to the boys' quarters. Maybe she heard the mourning and the shouting of that lady. So she went to catch the gate man red-handed for doing that kind of act in her own house. But surprisingly, Sonto, this woman, she wasn't angry, she wasn't aggressive, she wasn't furious. In fact, she tried following the back door, but I had already closed it. So she was forced to follow the front door and enter the sitting room. It was then he met her husband, who has been looking for her. Few minutes later, I showed myself. I told them I came back and I apologized to them. My mother did body as if nothing happened. She just asked me to prepare food for her. That she wants to go out today, she wants to go to work. She has an important work to attend to. When I now entered the kitchen to make breakfast for my madam, only for me to see the gate man. He sneaked out of that same quarters. Well, this is complicated though. Some those said to Soprochi, but instead of you to start reading meaning into something that you did not see with your clear eyes, you told me you saw another lady, not your madam. So please, I just go beg you, maintain your business, dear. Mind your business. Stay out of trouble. Don't put your mouth in what does not concern you. As far as it was not your madam that you saw, it does not concern you what she went there to do. And even if it was her, still mind your business. Ha! Please, this is your job that is paying well and also helping me to survive. We do not want to lose it at all at all. So please, maintain yourself. Mind your business. Somto also suggested that it might be that her madam heard the noise and decided to check it out. But she didn't find anything when she got there. Let her remove her mind from it and mind her business. If not, she might lose her job. So Ruchi decided to respect herself and mind her business. Later that day in the evening, Obora came back home very early, unlike him. He came back to watch football. His favorite team are playing football that evening. He requested for Soprochi to come join him. When she came out, he first gave her a gift he bought for her. Soprochi thanked him and accepted it. He then asked Soprochi to join him and watch the football since they are about to start. Because Soprochi has a lot of female friends and also more male friends while growing up, this made her to love football a lot. She used to hang out around guys. Unfortunately for Obiora, she was supporting the opposite team. Out of Sopuruchi's good heart, she went inside the kitchen and got refreshment, juice and a slice of cake for her and her boss Obiora. As the football progresses, Sopuruchi's team scored first. Out of excitement, Sopuruchi jumped up and was mocking Obiora, smiling that his own team would lose the football. Obiora told her to calm down, that the game is not yet over. They will still find out the team that will finally win the game. As the game still progresses, they were eating the cake and drinking the juice. Finally, Obiora's team won the game. Sopuruchi became sad. Obiora then cheered her up and suggested they watch an interesting movie and also use that opportunity to finish their juice and their cake. Then, something unexpected started to happen. Their head started to become heavy and they started to laugh uncontrollably. They were laughing and making jest of each other. Then, Obiora couldn't hold himself. He grabbed Sopuruchi closer to him and started to kiss her. Sopuruchi, on her own part, didn't hold back. She kissed him back. From there, they progressed to the room. Sopuruchi's room, which was the closest room to the sitting room, was where they entered, and they battled it all night. In the morning, Obiora first woke up and was shocked to see what he has done. He then tried to wake up Sopuruchi, but she isn't responding. He tried all he could, but Sopuruchi didn't wake up. He used water, used all the method he could remember, but still, Sopuruchi didn't wake up. Obiora became scared. Hey, what will people say? Oh, I used her for ritual. What else? I can't even remember what happened, how we got here. How did all of this mess started? He called Sopuruchi. Still, she didn't move. He then carried her and rushed her to the hospital that morning. When they got to the hospital, the doctor examined her and told Obiora he's suspecting poison, food poison. But they need to run some tests to confirm his suspicion. The doctor then ran the tests. After a few hours, the results came out, and the doctor confirmed that Sopuruchi took hard drugs. Obiora was surprised. He told the doctor it can't be true because the Sopuruchi he knows doesn't even smoke. Talk more of taking hard drugs. It is impossible. The doctor explained further. Hard drugs can be taken in different forms. It can be taken through food, through drink, or through any means. It was then the flashes of what had happened the previous day started to come to Obiora's head. It was then Obiora remembered that the both of them took juice and cake while watching football. He requested for himself to be tested. And when the doctor ran some blood tests on Obiora, it was also confirmed that the same drugs is in his bloodstream. But it didn't affect him because he takes alcohol and he has a very strong immune system. That was why the drugs didn't affect him too much. Obiora then wondered how the juice and the cake was laced with hard substance. And who had the mind to do it? It couldn't be Sopuruchi. No. How can she put herself in harm's way like this? It can't be her. Obiora said to himself. It turns out that the hard drugs also enhances sexual performance, and that was why they couldn't hold themselves. While Sopoluchi was at the hospital fighting for her life, Obiora ran back home to find out what exactly is happening in his house. When he got home, he met Amaka, who came back that morning. She was looking so furious. She requested to know who and who ate and drank the juice and cake that was littered in the sitting room. Besties, abeg, please oh, who laced the cake and the juice that Obiora and Sopuruchi ate? We are going to find out in the final season of this story. Drum roll. So guys, we are going to find out in the final part of the story who laced the cake and the drink. Please, I don't want you to miss out. If you have not subscribed, I beg, click that subscribe button and turn on your notification. Give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And don't forget to share with your family and friends. You can also support Mona by buying her a coffee. Buy me a coffee. Okay? The link is on the description of the story and on the bio. See you on the last and the final part of the story. Goodbye and God bless you.